You know, it's unfortunate. I think many people still see science as a subject that they studied in school but left behind when they took their final exam. To me, science is really a way of life. It's a perspective, it's an outlook, it's a way of engaging with the world so that one can employ, rational reasoning, deductive logic to really understand what's true, what's right, and what's actually accurate about the world around us. And that is not a subject, that's a perspective. When you look at the 21st century, at the opportunities that we have, at the challenges that we face, right? From things like stem cells and climate change, from nanoscience to space travel, to nuclear proliferation, to all manner of things that will have a dramatic impact on life. They're all scientific. And if you don't have a public that's willing to engage with the scientific ideas, it's nearly impossible to have informed decision making. So in order that we can really participate in the ongoing development of life and culture, in order that we can play a part in the global dialogue about where our planet's going to go in the 21st century, we all have to speak at some level the language of science.
I'm sciencey and I know it. Science is real. From the Big Bang to DNA, Milky Way. I like those stories about angels, unicorns, and elves. Now I like those stories as much as anybody else. But when I'm seeking knowledge, either simple or abstract, the factor is science. The factor is science. Science is real. Science is real. Science is real. Science is real. From anatomy to geology. Science is real. From astrophysics to biology. A scientific theory isn't just a hunch or guess. It's more like a question that's been put through a lot of tests. And when a theory emerges consistent with the facts, the proof is with science. The truth is with science. Science is real. Science is real. Science is real. Science is real. Girl, look at that beaker. Girl, look at that beaker. I work out. Girl, look at that beaker. Girl, look at that beaker. Girl, look at that beaker. I work out.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old. I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters. And I wrote this little program and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up either in a book or on the internet and then added a little bit to it.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something, or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but you know, what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than, you know, sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Addition, subtraction, that's about it.
You should probably know your multiplication tables.
You don't have to be a genius to code. Do you have to be a genius to read?
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or, you know, build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
What it is, you know, computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? You know, it's just all over.
When I was in school, I was in this after-school group called the Whiz Kids. And when people found out, they laughed at me and, you know, all these things. And I'm like, man, I don't care. I think it's cool. And, you know, I'm learning a lot. And some of my friends have jobs.
Our policy is literally to hire as many talented engineers as we can find. The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
We have a fantastic chef,
Free food,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
free laundry,
snacks, even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
Whether you're trying to make a lot of money or whether you just want to change the world, computer programming is an incredibly empowering skill to learn.
I think if someone had told me that software is really about humanity, that it's really about helping people by using computer technology, it would have changed my outlook a lot earlier.
To be able to actually come up with an idea and then see it in your hands and then be able to press a button and have it be in millions of people's hands. I mean, I think we're the first generation in the world that's really ever had that kind of experience.
Just to think that, I mean, you can start something in your college dorm room and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You know, you're gonna look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
I think it's amazing. I think it's the closest thing we have to a superpower.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
I'm sciencey and I know it.
Did you know that cashews grow on apples? In this case, the apple is simply an accessory fruit with the cashew growing on top. Or how about the fact that mushrooms are more closely related to animals than plants? The most common ancestor between humans and mushrooms is more recent than that of mushrooms and plants. Trees, they actually grow out of the air, not the ground. Though they receive some minerals from the soil, the carbon dioxide from air goes into the tree and with the help of the sun removes the oxygen. This carbon is left with water to create the substance of the tree. And did you know that there's enough water in Lake Superior to cover all of North and South America with 1 foot of water? Or that there are more stars in the visible universe than all the grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth? And yet the number of synapses in your brain's cerebral cortex alone, about 125 trillion, is the amount of stars that would fill 1,500 Milky Way galaxies. But an atom is around 99.99% empty space, making everything in the universe mostly nothing. including your body, which, by the way, is constantly replacing its cells. So much so that every 10 years, your entire body has replaced itself. Every atom in your body is different now, meaning you have no more in common with your previous self than any other human being that's lived or will ever live. All the while, there are more bacterial cells in your body than actual somatic body cells. And if you've made it to age 18, you have, on average, 3,200 to 3,500 weekends left in your lifetime. More importantly, you only have about 57 summers left. And did you know that while dragonflies have legs, they can't walk, only land? Or that in a population of clownfish, if the female dies or is removed, the most dominant male will become a female? The Tyrannosaurus, in terms of time, is closer to today than to when the Stegosaurus roamed the Earth. To the same token, Cleopatra lived closer to the first moon landing than to the construction of the pyramids. And just for fun, when I say it, you are now breathing manually. Got a burning question?
I'm sciencey and I know it.
Stadium today, and I saw, all the kids competing. It just lit my heart up, inspired me even more to want to do it next year and the next year and the next year. You go ask any of these kids, 30,000 of them in this stadium, what do you want to do when you grow up? An engineer. I want to be a scientist. I want to be like Dean Kamen. We want the youth to be saying that. Shine a light on it so other kids are inspired by those kids. Because right now, the other kids don't think that's cool. But they go buy iPods, new MacBooks, high definition televisions. They love science. They just don't know it. They love engineering. They just haven't been educated. She's got to flip it. And you have to marry art and science. Dun, 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 dun. It's about time that the youth gets reminded on what it is all about, so they want to be a part of it.
Come on, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all. Put your hands together. Clap your hands, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all. Clap your hands. Clap your hands, y'all. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. Tonight, hey, let's live it up. I got my money, let's spend it up. We go out and smash it, like oh my God. Jump out that sofa, let's get on. I know that we'll have a ball. Each time we go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed and I wanna let it go. It's the way I'm spaced out, losing all control. Shit, fill up my cup, mazel tov. Look at her dancing, just take it off. Let's make the town, we'll shut it down. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Hey, hey, hey. Here we go, we gotta rock. Easy go, now we on top. Feel the shot, body rock, rocking those socks. Round and round, up and down, around the clock. Here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Get with us, you know what we say. Party every day, party every day. Feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. I feel wiggle man.